Hello and welcome to Lunch Break Reviews. This is a podcast about the things you love and the voices that do and don't. Each episode, I will travel to the realms of awesomeness and take a look at the best good and bad reviews I can find based on title alone on this week's current movies. I'll look at the past week's top box office, the movie releases for the upcoming week, and I'll even give you my thoughts as well, all in under 30 minutes. I'm sure we'll even get into TV and comics from time to time. I'm the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and this is the Lunch Break Reviews, with new episodes at least every Sunday night. Today we have Francis Ford Coppola's new, whatever you want to call it, Megalopolis versus The Wild Robot. But first, here's a recap of the top box office for this weekend right now. Right now, we are sitting with The Wild Robot in first place with 35 million. IMDb's rating is of 8.5 out of 10. Get into more of that in a little bit. Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter is at a 98%. And Rotten Tomatoes popcorn meter is also at a 98%. Beetlejuice comes in second place with 7.0 out of 10 and 77% on the Rotten Tomatoes with tomato meter, and then an 80% on the popcorn meter. Following that, we have Transformers 1 sitting at a 9.3 million for this weekend, with IMDb listing it as a 7.8 out of 10 with 89% on the tomato meter and a 98% on the popcorn meter. Devara Part 1 is coming in fourth place with 5.6 million for the weekend, with IMDb giving it a 6.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter is not available, but the popcorn meter is, and it's sitting at an 81%. Coming in fifth for the weekend is Speak No Evil, and that is at a 4.3 million. IMDb is rating it with 7.2 out of 10, and with an 83% popcorn meter and an 85% tomato meter and an 85% popcorn meter. I have seen all of these movies except for Devara Part 1. We're going to get into the ones for this week. We're going to go right into Megalopolis. Here's some info about it. This was released on September 27th of 2024, this last weekend. I watched it yesterday, and I'll give you my thoughts here at the end. I'm going to give the rating again. We are sitting, IMDb has this rated at a 5.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it on the tomato meter 49% and a 36% audience score. Now, IMDb has the synopsis of Megalopolis as this: the city of New Rome is the main conflict between Caesar Catalina, a brilliant artist in favor of a utopian future, and the greedy mayor Franklin Cesario. Between them is Julio Cesario. Her loyalty is divided between her father and her beloved. The main cast on this it was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, written by Francis Ford Coppola. Main stars Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Nathalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, Lawrence Fishburne. The stars go on and on and on for this one. The critics' consensus from Rotten Tomatoes says this: more of the creative manifesto than a cognate narrative feature. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis is an overstuffed opus that's equal parts stimulating and slapdash. Never heard the word slapdash before, but I kind of like it, so we're going to go with it. Michael Clark from Epoch Times says this: this is one of Coppola's most ambitious works. It takes more chances than any other film he's ever made. It swings for the fences and doesn't fully reach them all of the time, but does so enough to fully warrant its existence and praise. All right. Jack Martin with Film Feeder. And he says, there is but one hope that can finally bring us together as a species. The fact that absolutely nobody in their right sane mind can make heads or tails as to whatever in the hell Megalopolis is trying to do. Okay, I will get into my thoughts, but I'm going to lean more towards Jack on this one. But here we go. Let's read some of those reviews. I base the reviews I choose solely on the title alone and have not read through them. Please forgive me if I mispronunciate words I normally know talk good. I will do my best to read them as I see it, punctuation, good, bad, and all. So let's find out what people are saying about Megalopolis, shall we? We're going to start off with some bad reviews. Here we go. All right, this is a 1 out of 10, and that is called 0 out of 10 movie, 10 out of 10 movie watching experience. Let's see what they got to say. Megalopolis, the greatest movie watching experience I've ever had for such a terrible train wreck of a film. I don't know what the heck I just watched, but my God, did I ever feel connected to the rest of my audience as we suffered and laughed through it together. Megalopolis is a mess brimming with ambition, but utterly devoid of direction and cohesion. It isn't just agonizing. It is an excruciating test of patience. At best, it's a mind-numbing, at worst, a total train wreck I painfully endured. But it gave me an experience I will never forget. I saw this in IMAX pre-screening. That included the live actor during the movie and a live-streamed pre-screening Q&A with Francis Ford Coppola, Robert De Niro, and Spike Lee. The Q&A was bonkers and spiraled way out of control right after it began. It was insane to watch unfold in real time and ended up being a great pre-game for how insane the experience to come was. And wow, was it ever so much fun, laughing along with the full audience of cinephiles at the absurdity of this movie. And before you ask, no, this is not a comedy. We were laughing at the movie, and yes, I feel bad. This is legendary Francis Ford Coppola's passion project with a heavy artistic, experimental vision to it. But it just was such a hot mess that I couldn't help it. Luckily, I wasn't alone. And while the movie was largely a failure, this was the most connected I felt to an audience and film community since seeing Avengers Endgame. For the first time, so while I probably never see this movie again, I am so thankful to have had the experience I did seeing it. I genuinely cannot believe this movie is real. It needs to be seen to be believed. I have never seen a movie quite like this before. Better or worse, Coppola makes the movie he wanted to make, and it is as strange and bizarre and imaginative and insane as you would expect. In every single department, part of me thinks the movie knows how insane it is, and it just gives zero craps. But who knows? I just have no clue how to actually write about it. Frankly, I could barely explain the movie to you if I tried. I get that one. You can tell Francis Ford Coppola thinks a lot about the Roman Empire because of its influence. It's all over the mega future failure that is Megalopolis. Themes of times of history, legacy, civilization, technology, politics, the media, and economics are all touched upon this golden sun-baked, grandiose, overstuffed, and overwritten piece of filmmaking, but with little to zero cohesion between them. While Francis Ford Coppola may have made some of the greatest films of all time in the 70s, Megalopolis is not one of these movies. Every member of this cast feels lost as they deliver some of the funniest line readings you'll likely hear all year. I think Aubrey Plaza was the only one who knew what kind of movie she was in. Some will appreciate the scale and ambition of Megalopolis. I would have admired it more if any of it worked, but at least I'll never forget the incoherent, messy WTF experience of it all. I feel like I just witnessed an important moment in film history. All right. Well, that is a good review. You know what? Let's do one more bad review. Okay, so here's another one. This one isn't as long, so we'll try to go through this pretty quick. It is another 1-star review, and it is called, "It was just a bunch of filmmakers making completely stupid decisions and actors making incoherent ramblings." Here we go. Just got out of the Dolby screening of Megalopolis. Let's get to the positive first. I loved the Roman Empire aesthetic interwoven into modern day America. Some wore the Roman costume designs, others wore what looked like modern day clothing, and some of it was a mixture of the two. It all worked for me in this regard. I really liked how it had this Shakespearean form to it, played like a Shakespearean play, and with how the actors performed and the Shakespearean dialogue. I have problems with this particular aspect's execution, though. The mannerism and unusualness, etc. I actually liked, many people didn't, the visual effects here. It gave the film the special visual sheen. Problems with the film. First, stupid decision making the dialogue incoherent. Not all of it, but a lot of it. You can do a Shakespearean thing, but please make the dialogue as coherent as possible. It's so important. If the audience cannot take in and process what the hell the actors are saying, then what are we doing here? At times, during the middle section, I thought to myself, at some point, this has to get better, doesn't it? Introducing all these grand ideas that at first you think, okay, these threads are going somewhere, and by the end either goes nowhere or falls flat as hell. The mainline execution of the fall of Rome and fall of America, rise back up the America with Adam Driver plan that the film thinks it's executing very well, but it's not. Overall, aesthetics alone are not enough. So what's left is this many grand elements and ideas that by the end they should have done a way better job with. What an absolute squander. Okay. Yeah, I'm more closer to the bad reviews here. So we're going to see what the other side is saying, and let's go over some good reviews. All right, this one is a 10 out of 10, and it's called a psychedelic masterpiece. Are you ready? Let's do it. Wow, this is why I love going to the movies. I just caught Megalopolis in IMAX and I'm still buzzing. The film's scale and vision were so magnified that it felt like I was truly immersed in Coppola's futuristic New York. Every detail is striking and the whole experience was incredibly powerful. Coppola's funding this $120 million project, mostly out of his own pocket, is a bold move that reminds me of the golden age of cinema. It's a huge contrast to today's industry, where taking risks often take a back seat. This daring choice reflects Coppola's commitment to pushing boundaries and crafting complex, unconventional narratives. Despite the production hurdles, budget issues, and creative disputes, Coppola's determination has resulted in a visually stunning and thought-provoking film. Megalopolis isn't just another movie. It's a stand against the cookie-cutter approach of modern cinema, championing artistic integrity in a world increasingly driven by formulaic blockbusters. It might not cater to the mainstream taste, but this film is a powerful testament to the value of artistic risk-taking. It's a film that deserves to be seen, discussed, and remembered, much like Coppola's other classics, in an era where creativity often takes a backseat to profit. Megalopolis is a refreshing reminder that the old masters like Coppola are still here, still fighting for the soul of cinema. Ooh, I like that, the soul of cinema. All right, let's keep this going. One more good review. Let's do it. All right, this is another 10 out of 10. This is called Coppola's attempt at a surrealist masterpiece, because I don't talk good. Spoiler alert, it opens with Adam Driver's acting and ends with it. He invites us with his surrealistic scenes and science fiction and religious conversations. None of the scenes were boring, and he made us watch in the movie. We see Caesar's love for utopia and the bureaucracy that blocks this. Caesar overcomes both the bureaucracy and the mass of people, and he wants to convince the public and creates his utopia. Of course, while trying to create this utopia, he must also resist against the banking bourgeoisie, I can't say that word, of which he is his cousin. I was amazed by the surrealistic themed and nanotechnology scene after the scene where Caesar is shot in the head. And the film had supernatural scenes. Caesar could sometimes stop time whenever he wanted, but he could not control it. He also clashed with the mayor and opened a path towards reconciliation. The scenes were created by quoting philosophers. It was great to see Giancarlo Esposito, whom I admire from Breaking Bad, in this movie. And he suited the role, and he played it like a masterpiece. What doesn't he play like a masterpiece? When I see him, I always think of Gustavo Fring. He was a really top-notch there. The role of leadership and CEO suits this man. I saw the same thing in The Boys. He can really do this. They did a great job with Adam Driver. Combining science fiction with surrealism always does a great job. This movie was exactly that. Dream scenes, supernatural scenes, and scenes with all the potential to be a cult movie. It goes with the Superman narrative and the capitalism bureaucracy bank conflict. The process is a process of creating a utopia. Megalopolis is a movie that surrealist fans and science fiction fans should watch. Yes, I am writing a spoiler-filled review, but if you are tuned in, definitely watch it. But watch it in the cinema, hear the sounds at a high level, and watch it. Okay. All right. There's the good, there's the bad. Let's move on to Megalopolis' opponent for the week of blockbuster supremacy. And that is The Wild Robot. All right. This also was released on September 27th, and IMDb has this at an 8.5 out of 10, with the tomato meter and audience score both agreeing at a 98%. All right, and here we go. This is the cast. It was directed by Chris Sanders and written by Chris Sanders as well. The book was actually written by Peter Brown. Main stars is Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Kit Connor, Bill Nighy, Ving Rhames, and Mark Hamill. Critics, the certified fresh critics consensus is a simple tale told with great sophistication. The Wild Robot is wondrous entertainment and dazzles the eye while filling your heart to the brim. I have to agree with that. Leonard Maltin from LeonardMaltin.com says, The Wild Robot is genuinely a beautiful movie in every sense of the adjective. Its physically production is impressive, to say the least. But there are no weak links in its chain. From the character design to the exquisitely rendered environment. John Flickinger from The Flick Pick says, The Wild Robot was an unexpected emotional roller coaster. Gave me the same protective robot feels I haven't experienced since T2 Judgment Day. All right. That's what the critics say. Here we go. One more time with my disclosure in case you forgot. I base the reviews I choose solely on title alone and have not read through them. Please forgive me if I mispronunciate words. I normally no talk good. I'll do my best to read them as I see it. Punctuation good, bad, and also let's find out what people are saying about The Wild Robot, shall we? We're going to start with some bad reviews, and here we go. All right, this is a 1 out of 10 and is called Fundamentally Flawed and Disappointing. I'm so disappointed in and had such high hopes for this film, but it just has no heart and it's mechanical and generic. The book is supposed to be much better, and it's unbelievable that the author signed off on this. From the story perspective, it's pervasively flawed. The characters and protagonists in particular are introduced with little or no development, and are so flat it's impossible to identify with any of them. The viewer is never given a chance to connect with or care about any of the characters. Also, the plot perspective and stakes are never high enough to drive the plot forward, or any subplots. I have to think this was an incredibly lazy or incompetent effort. There's an occasional attempt at cheap emotional manipulation. Overall, there are just no substantial stakes or characters you can identify with enough to care about. This guy's wrong. I'll get into my thoughts shortly, but I disagree. And we're going to do another bad review. So here we go. All right, this is a 1 out of 10, and it is called Overrated. Too overrated cartoon. It's not bad, but it's not 8 out of 10. Maximum 7 points. This will be a normal assessment for him. I don't know why he has such high ratings. Okay. Yes, the cartoon is not bad and meaningful, but there are a lot of them. I give a low rating only to equalize the rating. Okay. So I maybe would give it 6 out of 10, but I don't want to because I don't consider Wild Robot a masterpiece or a strong cartoon. Honestly and objectively, I also think this cartoon will not do well in the box office since cartoons about robots are starting to get boring. I hope many will agree with me, but this cartoon is for one time only. Thanks. So it's a 6 out of 10, really. All right, so fine. Let's move on to some good reviews. All right, good review. This is a 10 out of 10 and is called An Instant Classic. Chris Sanders comes back right when he's needed. This animated movie will go down in history not only as one of the greatest animated films, but as one of the greatest films in cinema history. Wow. This is a solid 10 out of 10 for me. My only wish now is for this movie to succeed at the box office as well. Hours later from seeing the film, and I'm still emotional. I'm not your average moviegoer, and of late, very few movies can surprise me much these days. However, today I met my match with The Wild Robot. I can't remember the last time a movie made me feel this way. I'm truly in awe with Wild Robot. I highly recommend you catch it in cinemas with the family. Well done. We're going to do another good review. All right, this is another 10 out of 10, and it's called a heartfelt masterpiece. I was lucky enough to attend a preview screening of The Wild Robot, and it quickly became one of my favorite films of the year. This beautifully animated movie goes beyond just being family friendly. It's an emotional and thought-provoking experience. From the stunning visuals to the heartwarming story, The Wild Robot delivers powerful messages about empathy, connection, and what it means to belong. The film effortlessly blends lighthearted moments with deeper emotional themes, making it an instant classic in my eyes. I was an emotional wreck in the best way possible for most of it, completely immersed in the story and the characters' experiences. It's rare to find an animated film that strikes a chord so deeply, and I can't recommend it enough. The Wild Robot is a true 10 out of 10, and I'm excited to see how it touches others just as it did me. Yes, you know what? We're going to go right into experiences because I watched Megalopolis and I watched The Wild Robot this week. And The Wild Robot, I had no... Actually, I wasn't even going to see it in the theater. The only reason I did is because we had it in an HDR theater, which is only 3 of them in the United States, I believe. And it was so amazing. I loved the story. This heartfelt masterpiece, I 100% agree with that. It is probably going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. There was a little bit of ocular perspiration in that movie. So definitely so good, so good. I watched a movie in Red Oak, Texas at a B&B Theaters HDR theater. It was amazing. And my experience, I was watching it by myself. So just to get the HDR experience, and I'm not mad that I did. So here's my thoughts on Megalopolis. So It's a mess. I was really tired when I went to watch it. I kind of want to watch it again just to see if I still feel the same way. And I probably will after I watch The Joker. But it was a mess. It was all over the place. I didn't like the swapping from Shakespearean dialogue to normal and so on and so forth. I get what he was trying to go for maybe, but I don't know. It got lost in me. And maybe I just wasn't in the mental mindset for a movie like that. And so, it is what it is. My movie fog in that movie, it does bring you into a good world. So like movie fog is a 5 for sure. But movie, yeah. Like the guy said, a 0 out of 10 for the movie, but a 10 out of 10 for the experience. Right on. The Wild Robot. That movie, I would give it a 10. It's a 10 for me. That movie is so good. Take your kids, take your family to that movie. See it in the big screen. Try not to cry. I dare you. My movie fog on that, I'd probably say 5 as well. 4 or 5 on that one. And so let's go over some awards for the movie. Best Actor of the Week, Lupita Nyong'o as Roz in The Wild Robot. My favorite character of the week is Pedro Pascal's Flick from The Wild Robot. My worst actor of the week was Adam Driver from Megalopolis. Just because, man, I don't know what you're trying to do. I couldn't get over the Shakespearean monologues. Although my least favorite character of the week was, well, it was Adam Driver in Megalopolis. Who is the show stealer for the week? My show stealer is Lupita Nyong'o's Roz. IMDb won the week. The Wild Robot is at 8.5 out of 10. And who won the week in Rotten Tomatoes would be The Wild Robot. 98% tomato meter, 98% popcorn meter. And The Wild Robot is my movie of the week. And you should definitely go see it. Now, I do have my top 5 for this week. Number 1 is The Wild Robot. Number 2 is The Penguin. If you're not watching Penguin on Max, you probably should. Also, my number 3, Green Arrow number 15. When I figure out what to do with comics on the channel, I'll do something more with it. High Potential, the TV show as well. Check it out on Hulu. A Minor Arcana is another book. It's fantastic. I'm going to try to do a review on that at some point. Some movie releases that are coming up this week: Joker, Folly Ado, A Different Man, Monster Summer, and White Bird. White Bird's going to be a cry fest. The 2 movies I'm going to try to get to this week is going to be Joker, Folly Ado, and Monster Summer. White Bird, we'll see, maybe one of the 2. All right, now it's up to you to decide. Where would you rank The Wild Robot versus Megalopolis? Am I missing something? Do I need to watch it again? I don't know. So I'm going to try to get some specific more stuff on TikTok and YouTube. I didn't get it this last week because I was in Texas. But anyway, you can find me, friend me, or follow me at Facebook at Nerd Positive, TikTok at Nerd Positive 1, or also my work TikTok at movies.bs. We do an office parody. It's super fun to do. The B&B business beatdown, other stuff. It's a great time. Instagram at the Fandemic 1. If you feel there's more of a conversation, feel free to reach out and let's talk. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next guest on Nerd Positive. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nerdpositive, Patreon at patreon.com/nerdpositive, PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin. Most importantly, just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review. If you like this, check out all my other stuff as well from Nerd Positive, and hear my fun conversation with myself, Brian, and whoever else wants to talk. You can also order my kids' book, Leveling on My Awesome, and Stuffed Animal Night Force versus the Dream Invaders on Amazon, or contact me for autographed copies. I got 2 more books that I'm hoping to have done in the very, very near future. Okay, here it is. The Wild Robot won this week, beating out Megalopolis. All right. Have a good day. And 29 minutes right there. Look at that. I even did it under 30.